what is the AI is collecting. And ultimately you will see, we know Google, right? Google has a lot of violations in terms of there's not spying, it's a different word, but they have permissions, they take the permissions of your multiple things, locations, PI, everything. So they had also sued with the fine by EU GDPR because of these privacy violations. So remember, if you're doing something like Ghibli and all, you're exposing yourself, not only your image, your location and PI, everything. Okay, so maybe you can stop, you can see here, maybe there are a set of attacks, or I would say threats, and now you can connect the dots with you. Like Access is, oh wow, cross-site scripting. It seems to be 52%. Oh, that's nice. Cross-site scripting, how many of you are not, I would not ask, aware about cross-site scripting? How many of you actually found cross-site scripting in an application not vulnerable? Not DBWA, not hack the box, try hack me or anything. Only one. How many of you have done account takeover using cross-site? That is where you have to think as a red teamer. That's correct, the chaining. Only one person. I want you to answer. See, we need to go beyond the basics, but first we need to understand the basics, we need to go through the entire process, and then we can do actual deep dive. Authorization. What is the top 10? OWASP top 10. What is the first top vulnerability? No, first two rows. What is the top 10 first top vulnerability in the OWASP? Broken access control, right? Correct? So broken access control is what it talks about. One of the things is authorization. What is the latest OWASP version? Like version as in, OWASP released the top 10, right? So what is the latest one? Is it 2024? 2025? What is the latest? Web application OWASP top 10. What is the latest? (2021) is the latest, even though it is not 20. We are not in 2021, but still it is the latest because 2025 is in a draft. We are expecting it to release very soon. So 2025 is in a draft, but 2021 is the latest. So I don't know, maybe in a security, now I want you guys or maybe one of you to tell me what you have learned so far. Forget about this. What is your curriculum? What is your syllabus in security with respect to the application? Anybody can probably give me some insights on your curriculum? First, second, third year, anything? No one? Yes? Anybody? Maybe somebody can, I don't know, maybe some, feeling lazy, it's a bit lazy morning because of the weather outside, or how is it? What is the curriculum you're learning? I don't know, you're doing a project only, I don't know. Do you have application security? Yes. What does that talks about? Only that is the only application, it's not security. So, okay. Now tell me attacks on applications. He mentioned attacks on application is one of the topic or maybe something in the curriculum. Tell me, what have you learned so far with respect to attacks on applications? Yes. Of course, you are looking at here, so you can tell that as well. Yeah? Nobody? SQL injection? Mm-hmm. OSI layer is a 5 layer or 7 layer? Okay, that's a good thing. What was the previous one? Previous to OSI? TCP/IP. OSI, when we talk about, okay, let me give you a simple question. Have you heard about web application firewall? Yes? I don't want you to answer, I want them to answer. Web application firewall, it sits at which layer? Which layer? Web application firewall. Yes.
Second, third. Second, third.
That's a pretty wrong answer. See, I'm not demotivating anybody, but application layer, where is it? You answered it. Where is it? Layer 7 is the web application firewall. It's where you are actually, application is there. What about network firewall? Yes. Now it is simple. Network firewall. Where it is? Where is the network? You answered it. Simple. And it is not tough at all. Application is where your representation, right? Where the application. So backend is different, but application firewall is your perimeter to the application, right? That means web application firewall is a layer 7, network firewall is a layer 3. Remember that. Simple. Okay. So these are the simple, you see the vulnerabilities or threats with respect to the application. Of course, day by day it is increasing. AI is always going to be there. Now, standards or frameworks or baseline. How many of one thing? Do you have OWASP in a application security curriculum? Yes? Somebody said yes. You sure? No? So when we talk about standards, or I would recall it as represent as a framework or baseline. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. SSL stripping is an attack. SSL vulnerabilities are, we are talking about SSL vulnerabilities. So meaning that it can be one is heartbeat. Just a simple example. It can be anything. It can be, SSL specific downgrading attack, maybe forward secrecy. Then you are anything with respect to the SSL, that is that percentage. SSL stripping is where you basically downgrade your secure connection to the normal HTTP. Right? So that is the SSL stripping. It is one of the attack vector, but SSL has 61% of issues. That means like they have found it 61% SSL, maybe version 3 they are using. Maybe they are having vulnerable to Heartbleed, many other such kind of SSL attacks. Many of the standards or compliance regulatory requirements, they do tell you should be at least enforcing TLS 1.2 minimum, right? 1.3 is latest, that is we call it as a 2 as well, TLS 2 or 1.3. But that is something which is not completely or easily adoptable because of the dependencies. So baseline or frameworks, when you talk about OWASP is there, Veracode, they have SANS top 25, CWEs, lot of things. Have you heard about that? Anybody? Baselines? Okay, still a question mark. Okay, so how many of you have attended a sessions related to the security before? Only first two rows. 2 people. That's it. How many of you have heard a session related to the some, bug hunting or anything like that before? Again, only 2 rules, 1 more extra. Okay, so this crowd is new to security. Does that sound correct? Yes? Okay, I'll take any of you just to hand over the mic, okay? I want the middle guy, the black t-shirt. Yeah, you. No, this the laptop guy. MacBook. Maybe you can probably introduce yourself and what you are learning, like, which standard, maybe it's the first year, second year, and what is your view with respect to security? Yeah.
My name is SSPU and I am currently first year cyber security, and I'm learning about threats and all.
What is your syllabus in first year?
Like subjects.
Yes, yes.
Maths about web and
Only two?
Python. C,
Okay.
data science.
Data science.
Sorry, DSL.
Okay.
Data structure.
Data structure.
Yeah.
How many are there in the third year here? Third year? Oh, you are there. No. You are not. These two roles are not applicable to answer the question, but yes, I am sure you know the things. I want first, second year, or at least even though you are not, just try to interact. Don't shy. See, I was also one of you before. I was also shy like that, but try to talk. Even if it is wrong, when you so the thing is, failure is the first step of success. Even though if you answering wrong, that doesn't mean you're people who are not. That's of course it's college, people are not, but still, it's an experience. It's very important to learn. So even if it is wrong, it's okay. I may be wrong in some of the things. That doesn't mean I'll not be I'll stop talking. It will be identity member. So yes, anybody third year student? No. No. Apart from this two. Second year? Yes. The red space. Yeah. What exactly you are learning?
Hello sir, I'm Anshika Pargar and currently I am second year, and we are having application security, we are having network security, we have advanced cryptography, we have cloud infrastructure security, and many more subjects like that.
Okay. Now let's connect the dots to the application. Because a lot of things are there. Cryptography I can also explain that, but we can take it just as a Q&A. Okay. Application security, are you learning any OS or something, or just you're learning OS?
Yeah, in OS we are having like the top 10 vulnerabilities like OS.
That's correct. So, what is the second highest after the broken access control?
Broken authentication, if I remember it properly. First is, according to the list that we studied for second unit, first was BOLA, and second was broken authentication.
What is that first?
BOLA is like broken object level authentication, authorization.
That is broken access control. Authorization is access control only.
Then broken authentication would be the second.
Okay. Authentication is not same. What is authentication and authorization? Simple difference.
Okay, authentication is when you are going into a system, right? So the system authenticates you with some credentials or some password. Now, authorization is according to me, what authorization is like, if you have, after the authentication, if you have access to some data or some database, so how much access you have to it?
Perfect. Simple. Authentication is who you are. Simple. No technical terms. Who you are. Sorry, I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Vanshika.
Vanshika. Who you are is Vanshika. Vanshika has access to the second year, maybe curriculum and what are the portals they have. That is your authorization. Who you are and what exactly you have access to. Simple. Thank you very much.
Thank
At
you,
least
sir.
I have a good response. Maybe we can have some, I don't know, do you have some chocolate or something? Yes. Thank you. Okay, perfect. So if you want to earn the chocolates, of course it's not a baby thing, but yes, please try to answer it. Of course it should not be 100% correct. Nobody is 100% correct. Please try to answer. Don't don't have a shame or something. Hey, I shy to answer or something like that. Be confident and answer. So yes, OS she mentioned you are learning the second year, first year I don't know. I am still figuring out what is the syllabus. But yes. Okay. Okay, this is one of the interesting stuff. Now because I guess you are all waiting for the actual live things, maybe exploitation or something. So that's the reason I want to make it. I don't want to make it fast. I'm still gonna wait you for the actual deep dive. What is the penetration testing? Yes. This time probably I'll give you 2 chocolates. Maybe Nitesh if you have more. Yeah, 2 chocolates for this answer. No these 2 rows. I know these are maybe a bug hunters. I will definitely ask the question which is definitely it will think of. It will try, you will definitely need to think. Yes, penetration testing. You will get the chocolate, yes. Out of the box. Okay, I guess one Shika, right? You again. I probably see penetration testing. Yes. Good one. Your name is
Nakul.
Rakul?
Nakul.
Nakul, okay.
Yes, sir. So, when you're talking about penetration testing, it is simply the simulation and ways how we can find vulnerabilities in a particular system or software.
Okay.
So that based upon these reports and logs, we can fix it. So that we don't have any breaches in the future.
Okay. I would say yes. I would definitely give him a chocolate. Thank you, Nakul. 2 chocolates, yes, please. Maybe you can, pass it on to the next lady. Okay, so penetration testing is a step-by-step approach. When we call it as a pen test, red team, anything around that, it is a step-by-step approach. Of course, it has a defined methodology. What exactly your end goal is to find out as much as loopholes, gain the access, clear the traces, done. But it is not like that. The main thing is when we talk about industry specific penetration testing or red teaming simulations, you can't do like bug hunters we do, right? We go hacker one, maybe just try to, this is SQL injection we found, reported, done. It is not exact is penetration testing or red teaming. Red teaming is a different. It is actually a penetration testing. You can see a part of red team, but red team is beyond that. So pen test is nothing, of course, nothing but it has step-by-step approaches. When we talk about pre-intelligence or information gathering, it starts with the intelligence gathering or information gathering. What does that mean? What is information gathering? Have you heard about information gathering, passive, active? Yes? Reconnaissance, enumeration, any other words? One is the reconnaissance, one is the enumeration. Any other words? No, right? So information gathering is a crucial step if you want to do any kind of penetration testing, which is a black box. When you talk about gray box, you do have the things in place. You know the things, you know maybe a server or URL, you have a test account, lot of things. When you talk about black box, it is where it starts. Information gathering. What's next? Is it a part of information gathering or it is separate before reconnaissance? So what is the difference?
Finding out the traces where exactly the stage started so that we can have a better reconnaissance.
Footprinting, is it comes before information gathering or it is a part of information? It is part of information gathering. What about after information gathering? What we do? You have the things, okay, you do the information gathering, okay, let's say suppose Symbiosis University, we have, maybe you have gone to Google Docs, Shodan, multiple stuff, Multigo, multiple stuff. You try to do a NS lookup, MX records, lot of things, and then what is your next thing? Discovery. Discovery is a part of again the scanning as well. Like you do a discovery scans, one thing. Post discovery, yes. Ports discovery or port scanning. Services enumeration, like that is right. What is the next? I believe this second row need an entire box then. Yeah. What is the next step? Yes. It is again enumeration. You are trying to enumerate the service version and everything. Banner grading is one of the technique. Yes. Vulnerability. Finding out the vulnerabilities with respect to the services, their version, ports, protocol, whatever it is. Then what you do? After you find the vulnerabilities, what do you do? Exploit. Now I have a question. When you say exploit, right, what do you mean? Exploit. In terms of your anything, maybe network, application, cloud, anything. When you say exploit, what does that mean?
We check whether the system is working in non-idealistic state. We can refer to previous scenarios and check those scenarios on the current state and then exploit a greater hand on it or breach the system.
Okay. So you answered it in a half. But yes, I will definitely, Nitish, one chocolate for it because they were waiting so far. But yeah, exploitation. What do you mean that? What do you mean by that? Exploitation.
Sir, if by using the payload, we are able to retrieve the data we are looking for or any credential we are looking for, then we can say we have done
Intrusion, intruding, one of the techniques. Yes. What is that? Gaining access. So exploitation is the technical word. There are some things like gaining access, intruding to the system. Exploitation can be done by any ways. Maybe the exploit, you do a Metasploit framework or Cobalt Strike, lot of things. Exploitation then can in many ways, but what is the end goal of exploitation is gaining access to the system, but this is only limited in the pen test. When you do exploit, you do the stuff, you do post exploitation, maybe you try to gain a persistence or foothold to the system, try to do a lateral movement. What is a lateral movement? Any specific in the syllabus? What?
So getting into this, if I have an organization and there are multiple nodes, then I get into the system and using those credentials I move
Okay, that's correct. Yes. So one of the thing which is penetration testing is has a limitation is we limit ourselves till the post exploitation and done. Wherever the red teaming is something you have the end goal of the data exfiltration. One example, you basically try to, of course, do lateral movements, multiple stuff. You try to have a command and control server in place to exfiltrate data. What is, okay, maybe you can answer. That's one of the questions I want to ask. What is the common, what are the common or one of the best way to exfiltrate data through which protocol? I want a protocol. Exfiltration of data through which protocol? It's for you only because of course that is a tricky question. It's a simple, if you have done it, straightforward question. We have asked that question before, the protocol one. It's the same answer. So one of the common way of data exfiltration over DNS. DNS exfiltration. DNS, through the DNS, you do a data exfiltration through the DNS. So always we, at the organization level, the DNS firewall or DNS security is very much important because the command and control not only talks on HTTPS or something like that. You can configure through the DNS. So DNS is the common CIC, data exfiltration. Okay, so these are some of the standards. Have you heard about this? Anyone? PTES is nothing but penetration testing execution standard. One of the famous standard. It has several phases, around 7, and you can just go to the site pentest-standard.org. If you're having a laptop open, maybe you can open it. If you have internet connectivity on mobile, you can just search it out, pentest-standard.org. That is the PTES. Second one is the OSSTMN, Open Source Security Testing Methodology. That is also one of the standard. OSINT, okay, this is the one of the great techniques. OSINT. Do you have any insights on OSINT? You know that. Any insights about OSINT? Open source intelligence. What does that mean? It is a part of information gathering. Open source.
Connecting that publicly available data for reconnaissance or traffic.
Okay. You have box with you also. Cool. Open source intelligence is also a framework where you can actually gather the information about the target. Target can be anything. People, like any person, any organization, and you basically do, OSINT. There is one terminology in OSINT is human. If you have heard about human, it is only talks about human intelligence. Have you heard about social engineering? Now you should be answering this. Who said yes? Everybody, right? Anyone? Social engineering, yes. New person, new face. Yes, maybe if you can give a mic to her. White, yes.
Yes, sir, phishing attack. So, the person impersonates to be someone else who gets an email and they send a malicious link. So when we click that link, a certain file or malicious code is downloaded into the system, and it can then exploit the system also.
Okay, so you mean to say you are going to trick the user,
Yes.
right? Yeah, please give a chocolate to her. Thank you. What is your name?
Mihira. I'm from CIPHER.
Okay. Second year?
Third year.
Third year? Okay, so I have a lot of questions to third year. One person got from third year. That's a nice trick to get the data. Okay, So, social engineering has several techniques under that. And one of the famous is, of course, you might have heard about is shoulder surfing. Yeah, you try to, if you are in the ATM machine, you try to hide yourself, enter the pin to make sure nobody's, at the back is trying to see it, right? Maybe try to enter a password if somebody is in the back, you try to hide yourself, right? That is the shoulder surfing. Have you heard about dumpster diving? In a lot of companies or previous days, what people used to do is they used to keep the sticky notes and they used to maybe throw it out in the dustbin. And that sticky notes or maybe the paper are actually a crucial information, maybe password, anything, PII, anything. So remember one thing, in a security, password itself is not only one area where you get the access to. PII is PII data also. So don't only say, oh, password hai, so like I can access everything. You can, without leveraging password, also you can get access to the environment with just PII as well. So there are a lot of things to explore. The last one I believe you are, more, prone to. MITRE attack framework. Have you heard about it? MITRE attack? I know the people are going to answer this. MITRE attack. Yes. New jacket. Yes. The jacket person.
Oh, it is actually used to.
You can sit down. No worries. No formality. Nothing.
Oh, it is actually used to understand cyber threats and adversary attacks.
Okay. Anything else?
Adversary behaviors basically.
Okay. Yeah, you actually got it. It's a good call out. You can probably give a chocolate. What else MITRE attack talks about? What you can do, Nitesh, is you can keep the boxes in the between and maybe they can just circulate it if yeah, it's just a suggestion, but yeah. Okay, what exactly apart from this? Yes, now I will give you a chance.
Basically, is a framework or an organization which is written by scale of a common leading authority to assign CVE IDs, newly founded vulnerabilities. They assign the ID number to them. CVE IDs.
It's not CVE.
So database of
And also, sir, they look after the process of penetration testing, starting from exploitation to the impact analysis.
So when you say CVE, right? NVD, MITRE is not that MITRE. This MITRE is a framework which talks about, yes. It is a tactics, techniques, and procedure or process. Yeah. So, have you heard about APTs? Advanced Persistent Threats? Okay. So, MITRE attack frameworks talks about what kind of tactics have been used by the attackers or hackers. What kind of techniques with respect to the tactics have been used by the attackers and the procedures. Just Google it out, you have the internet with you. MITRE attack framework has each and everything. You can actually create attack map navigator. So let's say suppose if your organization is affected or maybe some attackers are attacked, maybe some simple example of last year recent Apache Log4j. Have you heard about Log4j, right? Yes. So you can actually create a map navigator or threat navigator into the MITRE attack framework. How this got entered? Initial access, privilege escalation, multiple command and control. What are the techniques? What are the tactics the attackers use to gain the access using the Log4j vulnerability? You can do that. It has red teaming as well as blue teaming framework. It's not only limited to the red teams. So you can actually apply it for the blue teaming. Blue teaming as is, the security operation or maybe a defense perspective, defensive approach. Okay, so now I would like to focus you on some of the security topics which we are actually the industry is driving it. When we talk about security, application security, it is a broader, it is not a 2-3 hours of session of course, but just I would like to give you some insights on what is a SAST. Anybody? SAST? Have you heard about? Okay, simple. These are the terminologies. Have you heard about code review? Code review? Who said yes apart from this two? Code review. What is the code review? Nobody? Anybody from like, of course, who does the coding here? Python, Ruby, Rust, anything? Who do the coding? Apart from Nitesh, yes, who do the coding here? Nobody? That's strange. Okay, SAST is the static application security testing. What does that mean is, it talks about, in simple term, code review. Whatever you have written a source code of specific, you have developed a specific application, the source code should get scanned or reviewed by the either tool or independent reviewer. That is a SAST. And it is in the development phase. It should not be after development is done and then we are doing it. So if you are making sure shift left approach, you can do it in real time as well. The SAST. DAST is the post development. That is a dynamic application security testing. What does that mean is, you are basically doing a simple term vulnerability scanning on the application. So DAST is nothing but you are running a specific scans or test cases on the application. It can be authenticated as well to make sure the application is behaving in a correct manner with respect to the security. IAST is an interactive applications. Now I want you to answer maybe second row. IAST, interactive application security testing. Third year we have.
It combines the features of static intelligence and work security.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah. So it basically what it does is, IAST is nothing but it's a real time. One of the things is code review. So let me try to zoom it. So is it visible? So, and the SCA. What does that mean by SCA? Anybody? No. SCA talks about software composition analysis. So with the things which I am talking about is going to, you will not see in the book, but that is there in the industry standard, because that is what we talk about shift.
नितेश चेक कर
Yeah. So now let me go back to the slide. Okay, so you can see the steps here. The major thing when we talk about shift left, you have secure SDLC, right? You do, SDLC is software development lifecycle, planning, designing, right? So design phase is very much important in terms of security, planning of course, but design is where you actually do a design or architecture review or a threat modeling. Threat modeling, is there in the syllabus? Is there? Perfect. Now I want you to answer. What is the threat modeling? Yes. We don't have much time. We need to, do the demonstrations. Yes. What is threat modeling? Nobody?
Going to an organization's assets and determine what are the vulnerabilities and who is also exploiting them.
Okay. So if we talk about in proper technical way, what will be the potential threat? It is a potential threat. Why? Because you are not doing it. You are not actually you are predicting it. You are not sure whether it is actually a vulnerability or not. So that is the reason we call it as a potential threat. You are deriving the potential threats in the threat modeling. So let's maybe now it's OS topic. This is what we have in 2021. It has changed a bit, but we are going to talk about this. I will start with the simple basics. We'll interact and then we will start with the actual demonstration. I hope you all have a laptop with you. Everybody, make sure you have internet connectivity and also Boxwood community. Okay, perfect. So first one is the broken access control. Yes.
I had a question about OWASP top 10 trends. According to you, what is some kind of vulnerability that has continued to exist throughout OWASP or in web apps?
Broken access control, injection, always there. So even if you see injection was at the top, but it got at the third. But authorization, authentication, you will see the authorization is there, which was at the the fifth, but it is there at the top because nowadays the authorization issues are a lot of happening, like in the multiple applications if you take. So what they do is they do a survey, like we, of course, the contributors are there, they also provide the survey of how many of the percentage of authorization you are seeing. So access control is always going to be there, injection is always going to be there. Now injection is combined with the accesses as well. So it was previously access separate, it's combined. So you will see this as always access control, injection, and some of the things which is known as configuration. Otherwise, a couple of things are combined with the previous two things, but these are always there. Yes, broken access control. Anything? Simple. What do you mean by broken access control? We talked about authorization, right? It's actually it is affecting the authorization or access control privileges. That is the broken access control talks about. Yes. Now you do a coding as well, right? What is your preferred language? Which one? Python? Bash. So have you done any coding, Python coding to build the application? Web application development, what kind of languages do you use? Yes? Nobody? Simple, a common example, Ruby on Rails. Common example I'm taking. Right? Now when we talk about authorization, we need to make sure authorization controls means controllers. In Ruby on Rails, it's a controller. We need to have in place to make sure this doesn't happen. So we are going to talk about broken access control in our live exercise. Cryptography. Okay, I guess you told about cryptography or somebody told about cryptography subject, right? Is the hashing is symmetric or asymmetric? Yes. hashing is symmetric or asymmetric? Yeah, maybe you are forcing her to answer. Yes, please do answer that.
It is both asymmetric as well as symmetric.
How? If you do Google, the first answer AI will give you. Because now it's AI, right? Yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hashing is asymmetric, symmetric, or none of the.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I think hashing is unique because every hash generated is unique and we cannot copy it.
Copy as in?
I mean, we cannot replicate it. Oh, that is created for once only, and it is completely unique. And every time a hash generated is unique hash.
So, is it using a symmetric or asymmetric encryption?
Asymmetric.
Okay. Yes, you want to answer? Maybe somebody from experts. No, Vaibhav. Hashing. Even if you do Google, it will answer you. Symmetric or asymmetric? Okay, cool. That's a good one. It is not both. That's absolutely not both. Yes, that's correct. So hashing is a one-way technique, but of course it uses the encryption. That is what is the symmetry. That's what you answered already. You answered already. So hashing, I'm talking about this, the cryptography. So hashing is one way, it's okay, but also it uses encryption. So that's what you already answered. Maybe chocolate for him. Okay, perfect. So can you reverse the hash? No? No? So how do you do the specific, if the password are stored in hashes, how do you crack it? Now I got the answers. Who was that? Rainbow? Okay. What does rainbow table talks about? Hash cannot be cracked. First thing. Second thing, hashing. Yes, you want to answer? Yes, please.
Sir, I said rainbow attack.
Rainbow attack is one technique.
Yeah.
Correct? So hashing only can be, if you want to do a password specific attacks, hash only can be mashed or collide. That is collision. You cannot reverse. You cannot reverse it, or maybe some kind of apply some decryption or something like that. So it's only either matching. Yes, chocolate for him, please. Or a collision. Thank you. So now, this is hashing. Encryption, encoding, anything. What is the encryption? What is the encoding? What is the difference? Basic difference. Encryption, encoding. Simple.
Not all encoding is encryption, but all encryption is definitely encoding. In encoding, your goal is to, your goal can be to make it non-readable or not, but you are encoding it in some way. But in encryption is a type of encoding in which you do, your motive is to.
Encryption is not type of encoding. It's a reverse. Encryption is not type of encoding. Because see, encoding you do use algorithms, right? To encode your, maybe it can be base64, it can be anything. UTF-8, URL encoding, HTML encoding, right? But encryption is a different entirely. Encryption is something you are making it human unreadable. Okay, but you need key. Somebody said. For encoding, you don't need a key. Yes, that's what is the actual answer I want. What is the purpose? You said correct, but it's not type of anything. Yes.
Generating ciphertext is the goal of encryption. Or,
Yes.
But it might not be a goal.
Correct. So remember, encoding is technique, not always for a security. The use cases are different. Encryption is definitely directly connected with security. Encoding is just easy to reverse because it's a standard encoding algorithms are being used. But encryption also easy to reverse. Have you heard about salting techniques? Salting. No? Basics. Yeah. I guess only first two rows and of course couple of other people. Yeah. Salt is not Himalayan salt. Yeah. Salt is, yeah, you are saying it's coming, it's a random unique string or anything. Yes, you append it, that's it. Simple. So these are the cryptographic, I can go more as well, but with the interest of time, we need to rush. So when we talk about cryptographic failure, that means we talks about data in transit, data at rest. In transit means HTTPS connection. Data at rest means how the data is being stored. That is what is data at rest. That is something else, of course, what you talk about stripping, SSL stripping, I guess somebody talked, right? So man in the middle attack, if it is possible. Is SSL stripping is possible everywhere? Is HSTS is protecting against stripping attack? HSTS, High Strict Transport Security. Have you heard about HSTS, High Strict Transport Security? HTTPS is one. On top. This might be your favorite. SQL injection, but in OS top 10, injection is only not talks about only SQL injection. It talks about multiple other things. That is what is the XML injection, LDAP, multiple things. XML, XCC, CRLF, CRLF, and it also talks about, this is simple top 10 diagram where you are trying to fetch the data which has the backend SQL database. It is querying, the application is querying, and you are trying to get the undesired by entering the SQL payloads. And then it is categorized. So injection is also XSS now in OWASP. It's not a separate. Cross-site scripting. Now tell me, what is the best possible mitigation or recommendation to avoid cross-site scripting mistakes? Who said parameters queries? That is an injection. Nice try, but yes, it is an injection. I thought you answered for injection, that is correct. It's one of the technique to prevent SQL injection, because SQL you enter raw queries, right? So parameterized or prepared statement, parameterized queries are one of the ways defend against the SQL injection. Stored procedure also can be utilized. XSS, yes, best possible you said whitelisting. Yes. HTML encoding. Anything else? Yes. Secure cookies is only for cookie attributes. Of course, if you are, there are main two flags of course, in cookie, there are others as well. HTTP only, secure, domain, path. But HTTP only makes sure your cookies cannot be grabbed from outsider. Secure is make sure those will be transferred to the secure channel. The XSS, when you talk about the one of the best way in the modern browsers is the content security policy. You know what about it? Content security policy? No? Okay. I would recommend to just, if you have mobiles, Google it, try to type content security policy. It is one of the best way to defend again, not only XSS, again, clickjacking, like cross-frame scripting, SSTI, multiple stuff, because it has multiple directives. So content security policy is one of the best possible way to prevent. Okay, design. This is where when you actually design your specific application, if you are not making sure those best practices are implemented, then this problem becomes. Input validation, proper session management, of course session management is important, data storage, communication, business logic, error handling, multiple stuff. That is where if you are not actually looking into this at design phase itself, this will be a problem, or this is a vulnerability. This will become a vulnerability. Misconfiguration. Simple example, anybody about misconfiguration? Simple example, this third one, default accounts. Default accounts mean default users or username and password. That is a simple example of security misconfiguration. Like maybe you have one service which is running with the default credentials. That is a misconfiguration. This talks about multiple other things, security headers, then it talks about end of life or outdated or vulnerable softwares, multiple things. Security headers, simple. He mentioned already. Security headers are nothing but it makes sure whatever date you are, maybe you get request, your HTTP headers are nothing but you're making sure your date, the specific type encoding or any kind of data which you are passing, that is you're making sure it is secure or not. So first thing you talk about content security policy, you talk about encoding or accept content type, you talk about XSS protection, which is not required because content security policy will take care. You talk about XPREM options, not required because content security policy will take care. So most of the things content security policy as a single header will take care of multiple things. One more secure header is HSTS. HSTS is our strict transport security. One more is, if you talk about secure headers or secure flags in cookie, when you talk about session, right? It's HTTP only, secure, these are the main two, otherwise domain, path, same site is also important. Always set to lags. These are the security headers. XHC, of course. Have you maybe ever come across XML based application? Apart from buggers, XML. So like SQL injection, you are doing the XML injection. Syntax, of course, it's different. You just need to make sure, okay, your GTDs are proper and XML you are injecting with the entity and you are getting the data. It just you are passing as a malicious payload and XML parser, which is in the backend, it is parsing it and giving you the output. Outdated components, It's again an industry standard. You need to look at it. The components means it can be a libraries, it can be anything like which is supporting an application. So these are the different softwares or maybe frameworks. Such Apache Struts, if you remember 2020 or 2016, it was huge attack. WannaCry ransomware. You remember? So the Struts 2 also was there. Apache Struts 2.
A question regarding the previous.
Yes.
How often do you see out-of-date software or out-of-date systems being still used in
Yes. I would say we do see out of or end of life softwares also being used in an organization. We do see that. Why? Because see, whenever we see upgradation is nothing but you need to test it whether it is working with your current environment, your connectors, your dependencies. So some of the things which actually practically works is like new things are not compatible with the connections or integrations. That's the reason end of life they are still using it. So it happens, but yes, we always need to adopt. So adoption is the key. So testing the adoption and it rolling it out. That is what. But yes, we do see that end of life. That is where definitely you are going to see, and you can also, that is one of the entry point for you to intrude end of life softwares or OS. Authentication failures, of course, talks about authentication attacks, login specific or anything, brute force, credential stuffing, and multiple other stuff, right? That talks about that. Have you heard about any specific dark web, credential leak? Have you heard about info stealer? Info stealer? Anybody? Info stealer? You don't need to have it in syllabus. It is a general knowledge. Info stealer. No? Yes? Yes. It is kind of malware which actually has the intention to steal all the data from your system and publish it to the dark web. And info stealers are there not in your personal as well as its organization assets as well. Adware, yes, Adware is one of the example. Adware, you click on it, maybe it downloads and a lot of things can run. Software integrity failures, which talks about CI/CD specific pipeline, where you are pushing a malicious code and developer is actually utilizing that and you are downloading it. So this can lead to supply chain. Have you heard about supply chain attack? Supply chain is one to many. Why I say that one to many is you take over one organization or maybe one and you get many. Because supply chain is nothing but, have you heard about solar winds breach or attack which happened solar winds? No? It was a simple. They were utilizing a package, right? And it got affected. Their vendors also got affected. It's one to many. You are affected, you are taking others as well. CrowdStrike, yes, but CrowdStrike was not exact CrowdStrike issue. Yeah. Deserialization, of course, serialization and deserialization is like you are basically object you have and you are actually making it a stream of bytes. This is one of the defensive measures, logging and monitoring. Actually talks about accountability as well, like who does what, right? What time has been this attack happened, where it happened, why it has happened, when it has happened, right? Everything, if you have proper logging and monitoring, this talks about that. So you should have standard logging, monitoring, alerting in place, and logs should be stored as per the log retention policy. SSRF. Yes, bug hunters, SSRF. This is the last. Now I want you to switch on your laptops because we will be deep diving into the actual application specific pen test. Yes. SSRF, anybody? No one? Server side request forgery, yes. Bug hunters, it's one of the famous. No? Yes. Guys, do we have anybody to handle the mic? There is two things, CSRF, SSRF. CSRF is a cross-site, client-based specific. Perfect. Servers, SSRF is a server side. Yeah. You want to answer? This guy.
Yes, sir. I'm Anurag. Server-side request forgery is something like it is a security vulnerability which allows an attacker to force a server to make unintended requests to internal or external sources.
That's absolutely correct. It's probably a definition from Google, but still, chocolate, please. Cool. So basically, you are having a vulnerable application which actually allows you to make a calls to the internal services through that vulnerable application. And you can get the data. Not only data, there are multiple things. You can maybe do a port scanning for internal services and get the thing. You can do in a cloud environment, you can actually fetch the metadata. Have you heard about metadata in terms of AWS? AWS is a Amazon Web Service cloud. Have you heard about AWS metadata? Security credentials. Okay, so one of the technique to fetch the AWS metadata or security credential is the SSRF. Through the SSRF, you can fetch the metadata as well. And you can actually log into the console, the EC2 or any console, and you can take over the AWS of organization. Okay, with that is the demo time. Automated, I have just mentioned it as simple things. We are not going to use it. But I would suggest you to switch on your laptops. Hello. Okay. So now I will share you the website. Can you hear me right? Okay. So you can open up a browser and this is the URL of the application. u82.accubuild.com. You noted the URL? Everybody? Maybe your laptop is still booting up. The neighbor can just note down the URL and they can help as well. And this is not going to be a actual, I would say the bug hunting, it is going to be more on that. So I guess you have an official group. So Nitesh will share the links on the official group. I want to share you see, this is a simple application of the construction payroll. Okay. Of course, it's not developed by me. Second thing, this is not a well-known vulnerable application. So it's a thing. So you did this, right? Now I will give you a simple test account. Okay. This is a gray box you can consider. I will be giving you a test account for a simple user. This application is having, just to give you background, multiple roles, multiple tenants. Tenants means, suppose tenant A may be a, suppose Symbiosis has multiple departments. Symbiosis is a website. Under that, HR, computer, security. So this, you can call it as a tenants. So that this application has multiple tenants and multiple roles. And now, as a gray box tester, our responsibility is to find out the vulnerabilities into this application. Can you note down this? Please note down this user role account where you are going to log in. I will share the instruction, how do you log into that, and how do you, so this application, let me give you a background on this application first. So this application is basically have multiple roles, multiple tenants. When you log into the application, it has the access code, that is two-factor authentication. Once you verify your two-factor authentication, you will be able to log into that only specific tenant which is allotted to you. And you can do some payroll tasks, construction payroll tasks. This is the simple. So now, as a tester, what do you think? This application has one is login, right? This application has second step is two-factor authentication. Once you log into this application has different roles. Those are privileges. Fourth, this application has different tenants, right? So you have multiple things. Now, as a pen tester, okay, before going into this, how many of you have found vulnerabilities before in the application? Apart from this, people, nobody have done the testing so far, a practical or something? Okay, no problem. So now tell me, login. What can be the possible threats to the login? Yes. Possible threats to the login. One of them is link credentials. Yes, this is not a link credential. This is I have provided. So next, what is the threat to login panel? Injection attack. What is the threat? See, broken authentication. We heard about broken authentication, right? So try to visualize yourself what can be the threats to a login panel. It can be injection, it can be a default account, it can be a link credential, it can be a brute force. Brute force is possible, right? Correct? Okay. So you noted down this. Now I will show you how do you. Oh, what is this? Okay. So now I will show you how do you log into the portal using this account. You need to open yopmail dot. Open a yopmail. So this is the website you see, right? And you have to open a yopmail.com. yopmail.com is the simple email service for temporary or disposable emails. So your emails are temporary, disposable. Those are not actual emails which you are registered as your personal emails. These are disposable emails. What you need to do is go to this website and log in as an arthur@yopmail.com. How do you log in? Just enter here arthur@yopmail.com and click on next. That's it. Your mailbox will open. It's a temporary email. Why I am giving you this? Because this application has account configured or created with a temporary email. Because if you want to create it, it will take time to sign up and approvals and everything. It's better we have a test account created. You just need to open it up. That's it. Once you enter, you click on next. You will see the mailbox will pop up with a lot of mails. Oh, there is inbox is empty. That's a good thing. Now do one thing. You have the credential with you, right? Now the first step is to try to log in using that. Try to log in using that. What is the credential? Arthur1, that is a test with the username. So you have to log in with the username. Test is the username. Password is I already shared. What is the tenant code? This is the third line, which has started with new NEW is your tenant. This is a tenant 1. You can consider as a tenant 1. Now try to log in. When you log in, it will ask you for the access code, right? This access code you will only get on this email. I see there are a number of people logged in. That's a good thing. Can you please repeat? Yeah. So now, see this. That's the reason I mentioned. Instead of creating multiple accounts, because sign-up process will take time, registration. Why this is temporary service? Because you can easily access the access code. In ideal scenario, it will be your personal account. You will get an email on your personal account with the access code. This is just for a demo purpose. Otherwise, you have to log into your personal emails, everybody, and then of course, through the mobile you have to enter the access code. So I made it more easier, temporary email. now, do you have a yes? Perfect. Launch that workflow. How many of you have used workflow before? This row, one person, 2, 3. Okay, so I believe 99% of crowd don't know about Pursuit, right? So Pursuit is basically a proxy. I would call it as a proxy because it allows you to intercept traffic between the application and browser. So when you enter URL, the browser will send request to the application, right? The traffic you can intercept using the Pursuit, and also the responses from the server, application server. So Pursuit is only not a proxy, it is beyond that. It has multiple features inbuilt into it where you can do a crawling of an application. Crawling means you can try to find out as much as pages, sub-pages in the application. By default, it will passively scan. Scan as in not vulnerabilities, but the crawler. It has intercept feature where you can intercept real-time request and response. You can manipulate the things as well. It has a repeater. Is a feature where you can save a request for a future purpose. Where if you want to, you can make an intercept off and you can play with the request that in a repeater without interrupting actual communication. Intruder is one of the technique or one of the feature of the Pursuit where it will allow you to do the fuzzing. Fuzzing as in maybe you can do a brute force to the specific parameters. Fuzzing for the specific endpoints. Multiple things. It has other things as well, sequencer, extension. Extension is a really good thing where you can actually, there are built-in extensions, not built-in as in not in the Pursuit comes with it, but from the VAPT store, you can download the extension and you can plug into that as well. So this is a Pursuit. Let's now try to configure the Pursuit in your laptop or system. I'm intentionally opening the community edition only, not the official one, because I don't want scanner to run on any application. Manual techniques as much as possible. So now, the next thing is, how do you configure the proxy in a browser? First thing, you need to go to the proxy settings of the Pursuit. Go to the proxy setting of the Pursuit. It will open up a pop-up for proxy listener, right? So proxy listener, you can keep your loopback that is 127 IP or all interfaces, not a problem. So I mostly prefer loopback because I don't want to interfere with any other service which are running on my system. Make sure you click on it. You can change the code. Sometimes their standard codes are being utilized, so you can change the code to 8000, 5000, like that. Non-standard codes. Make sure you get a non-standard code there. Maybe I will put it 8087, specific address loopback, or maybe loopback only. Anything will work. Okay. Now you are here till now. Are you with me? Cool. Okay. So I'll just try to make sure this service I want to intercept request as well as the responses based on some condition. So I will try to make sure these two conditions of on is being added as well as responses. Second thing is response interception. You need to make sure you are intercepting responses as well. If you uncheck this, you will not see the response in which is coming from the web browser for application server. So make sure you are checking the intercept responses as well. And regenerate CA certificate. This will generate a CA certificate of a bug suit. And how do you configure that? You need to open up a browser, go to the browser, go to the settings of the browser, network settings. You have to go to network settings and you have to add a manual proxy. Manual proxy, here you have to mention your IP which you have entered in the bug suit, that is of course loopback IP, and the port number. Port number will be the port which you have entered. So, and then you can save it. So once you click on OK, the very next thing which you do is the certificate. You already configured the proxy, but how do you make sure your browser will send the traffic to Bubsuit? For that, you install Bubsuit custom C certificate, and that you can do it with the simply typing HTTP simple bug or Bubsuit. It will pop the right hand side CA certificate. You need to download this and import into the web browser. So you download it, go to the settings again, search for certificates. So you will see the certificates here, and then you have to import it wherever you have downloaded it. Once you import it, it will ask you whether you want to trust this certificate for identity of websites or email address. Yes, we want to trust this for both. And then click on OK. Once you are done with the configuration of Bubsuit proxy. Now the next thing is check whether the traffic is coming to the Bubsuit or not. How do you check that? It's just you can go to the target as well and just to try to refresh this website. Can you see? So traffic is coming to the Bubsuit. That means your configuration is perfect. It is complete. Now you can intercept and do multiple stuff. This is to give you overview on how the Bubsuit works, what exactly Bubsuit is. Otherwise, we can deep dive directly into the pen test itself. Now, till now, you all are with me. Everybody, I don't see much of laptops here. Yes, but yeah. Now, the next thing is, let's try to see the login request, how it is. As a tester, you need to crawl through the web pages, right? Why? Because you need to find out, I would not say number of, but pages, 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 everything. So we need to go in a flow, step by step. Try to do the login. You can do with your account, Arthur, and try to intercept. Let me try to log in and show you how the things works. So I will try to log in with the account which I have. So you need to make sure your intercept is on before you click on any of the button or actions. Otherwise, real time will not come, it will be there in the target. But if you see a real time, you need to make sure you are making the intercept as on. So when you click on login, can you see the login request here? Can you see the login request here? This is also intercept. You see the login request with the required login point, header. You will see the word with your account and you forward it. You will see okay. If the password or user is not right, anything is missing, it will show the error. If it is correct, it will show you that this is okay. This is your user ID. This is your role ID. Done. Yes? Any questions? No? Okay, so I'll just make that request as it is. So if I forward it, I'm not able to log in directly because it asks for access code. Right? Access code is you can across. Now access code is on my email which I have defined for my subscriber. If let me check if I received the email or not. Yeah, I have received email with the access code and I will enter. So once I enter a valid two-factor access code, it will allow me to log in into. So now think about intercept perspective. There is a login, there is a two-factor authentication. And the first step, what is the things which comes to your mind that how we can gain access to this application? How we can get it? Any idea? We'll try to try it with the admin default credentials. How about access code? How about tenant code?
If we know the email address for the admin, then we can do it in a very simple higher privilege.
That is what? So okay, yeah, that is a very good technique. Maybe we can have for him. Your name is Aditya. Nowadays, two-factor authentication is mandatory for most of the organizations, right? Login is as he mentioned, try to see whether we can bypass two-factor code, right? That is possible. Oh, sorry. Oh, time exceeded. Let me resend it. So now, try to log in with the access code, and what we will see is how is there a way to bypass, or is there a way we can brute force the access code. That is what is you have to think of. Logging into the portal.
If access codes are being cited or repeated, that is also.
Yes, this is the way of thinking, right? Access code, we need to cross verify whether it is being used same multiple times or it is rotated. It should be a, as a best practice, it should not be a guessable. 13, brute force, definitely. That is one of the well-known attack vector for a two-factor, brute force. So when I submit, it will allow me to log into the portal, right? So now let's deep dive into the actual finding out the flaws in the implementation of login mechanism as well as the any possibilities. Anybody from the crowd? What are the best possibilities of intruding into this application if we don't know the access code? Yes. If you don't know the access code, how do you enter into the application? Anything? Anyone? No?
This website is used. I use vaporizer to see what is it. There is something that is that can be used to get into the web page.
Okay. So let's consider to have you logged into the portal. There are credentials. You don't have access to the email of that person, right? How you log in? Yes, we are going to come to that point. The privilege escalation is how do you actually test and exploit the privilege escalation. That is also so now let's try to brute force for access code. Let's say suppose we don't have account, but he don't have access to the email he is using. He will try to brute force the access code and see whether it is allowing us, or is there any lockout, is there any account lockout, if there is any captcha, how we can bypass it. So a lot of things we need to consider in this scenario. So let me take it to the access code. How do you bypass two-factor authentication? One of the way bug hunters also know is a brute force. If you don't, pardon?
Is brute forcing visible when
what they do is either account lockout or they do rate limit can be bypassed, they do captcha can be bypassed, right? So that's where we are going to see. Maybe they don't have a captcha or something, but how do you, if this is your way, how do you actually try to bypass? You can do a brute force is one thing. Is it limit? You can do IP rotation, simple thing. Captcha, IP rotation will also still works. So there are lot many ways. X rate limit, if there is an X rate limit, it is very easy to bypass. It's a different story. But yes. So you can do a bypass or abuse the 2FA functionality with different techniques. Spoofing? Which spoofing? No, spoofing will not work, right?
But here, this is brute forcing is easier because only numeric.
Exactly, that's what I mentioned. It is a numeric 6-digit, right? Numeric is easy to brute force. If it is alphanumeric, it is going to take time. So let's try to do brute force. How do you do brute force with a verb suit? Yeah, it is a feature in a verb suit. We call it intruder. Right? So capture this request after login. You can capture the request of access code, right? And try to do a brute force. Now my access code, if I don't have suppose access to my email ID or I'm logging with another user, but I don't have access. So what I will do is, so I will try, so I don't know about the access code, I'll just try to enter a random access code to make sure I want, because I want to capture that request and send it to the brute force or including the specific parameter. So what I will do is, I will capture this request. Can you see the request how it is going? Can you see the request? It's a GET request with the authentic token, access code token, or access code I will say, role ID, everything. It is going in the GET request. So what we can do is, you can right click on this, you need to just right click, send it to intruder. Intruder is where you actually going to first access. If I forward this, it will respond back with this invalid access code. Because this is something is not correct. Right? Now, let's go to intruder and try to select the access code value and add it as a scope. You can add it as scope. And then at the right side, you will see the payloads. As we know, access code is a alphanumeric. No, access code is a alpha characters. No, it is only and only numeric, 6-digit, right? So simple thing. There's an option in the payload type. You can select the numbers. You see the numbers as an option, and then now, if you want brute force, you know the length of the this OTP. You can just add a simple. With the interest of time, I'll be adding specific numbers. Otherwise, you can add 10,000 as well. It will, because it is basically try each every access code and give you a response back. So the access code is sequential one by one step. This is the communication. It will take very time, but I will still try to see what are the results. Now it is good for seeing the access code. With the community, of course, it is going to take time. But yes, there is also option in an intruder. You can set up an interval as well. So there are chances in the live scenarios. You will see the if somebody origin, I would say request origin is sending a request to the specific resources multiple times in a single time frame, they reject the packet. So you can also do an interval of maybe a delay of 10 seconds or 15 seconds like that and send a request. That is a capability of intruder as well. So it is everything you can do with the VAPT. You don't need to rely on any of these scanning tools. This is a manual approach. Also, it has built-in features. Yes. You are also dive into the privilege escalation. Find out the privilege escalation without using the features. Just 8%. So all are trying this. Everybody is trying this. Anybody stuck? Like anybody wants specific information about how the things works or any doubts?
Where can we get payload specifically for it? GitHub, of course. But,
GitHub is always a source. You want payload in terms of what? SSS, SQL. Yeah, you can get on GitHub. You can get on, even though if you don't want to rely on GitHub, there is an extension also. VAPT extension you can use. XSS extension, injection. There are. If you go to the extensions, not here because it's a community, but still you can. Oh, sorry. You can see on the store. You see the VAPT store. This is a VAPT app store where you can actually get the extension and install it as well. XSS validator, you see here, ZWT, multiple things. So you can get a lot many things here. So what I have done is I have made a 200 specific request and I am brute forcing to the access code. So in that, have anybody heard about account takeover? Account takeover. Account takeover is of course impacts authentication, right? Because you are taking over of anyone's account, that means you are actually impacting his identity and you are impersonating him, right? Have you found account takeover so far in any application? Bug hunters? Yes, account takeovers? Not yet. Let's maybe try to see whether we can take over account in this application. So we are going to look at account takeover. We are going to look at privilege escalation. We are going to look at authentication bypass. These are not straightforward techniques, or we can say when we say XSS, it's a simple, just put a payload, script, alert, JavaScript, confirm, lot of things. But this is not like that. This is where you actually understand the flow of the application and try to abuse the functionality of application.
sir, what is the difference between actually just having the credentials for some account, logging in as that account and being able to do things, and an account takeover? What is the difference? Is it same or
account takeover, what you said first is will allow you to do via account takeover, right? Account takeover is nothing but you are taking over of anyone's account and you are doing the task because you have done the account takeover. That means you have access to that resource of that person. So that is second task which you mentioned, you can do via account takeover. Account takeover can be done unauthenticated, authenticated as well. What does that mean is, unauthenticated is one way is a simple technique, reset password. I have seen a lot of applications are actually vulnerable for reset password. You can do account takeover using reset password if you are actually analyzing it properly. Account takeover using a change password, which is after authentication. So normally, typically in application, when you log into that, right, it shows you that in a profile you can change the password. That is also can be vulnerable for account takeover of any other. Why?
You can reset the password to.
You can change the password of other user as well if that is not properly validated. So there are different techniques we are using. So we are just waiting to get the right access code here. If we get the response that okay, you logged in successfully. Because this is a brute force attack, you just need to wait, see the right combination, match the response. So till now, are you doing this intruder attack? Yes. Let me stop logging because otherwise the access code will expire. So are you able to do this? Are you able to do this? Intruder? Any blocker here? You can do the same technique, brute force, on as well. If you don't know the password, one of the technique, of course, not it works in industry because we have a lot of things. Now you can see the main thing is the captcha, we have account lockouts, we have multiple other areas where the but there are some workarounds. When there is a passwordless authentication, it's a different case. But yes, there are workarounds which can be also done.
Token capture can be attached. Passwordless authentication.
Which token?
Depending on what they are using.
Like the login screen?
When you are trying to abuse a passwordless authentication. So
Yes. Passwordless, yes, that works as a token. FIDO2, if you are having a device hardware authentication, it's a FIDO2 as well. But yeah. So now, the way it is going to end, I'm going to see whether the actual access code is matching here and giving me the successful or not. If I try to, maybe only send 100 requests because otherwise it will take time. For community edition, it really takes time. but with the, to give you insights, even though there are 10,000 payload, you can send it, it will work. If it is vulnerable. So, what else we can do apart from brute force? So this is a tenant specific, right? You see a tenant code, we have to make sure we are entering right tenant because your belongs to a one tenant only. So think in the security perspective, how do you abuse that? So let's say suppose Vaibhav is from ABC tenant.
Reverse lookup. If we know the tenant code, we can look up the who is it associated to or vice versa.
Okay.
That is how we can apply.
So there are things which is cross tenant privileges or cross tenant abuse. So now you are a part of one tenant, but is it possible to access another tenant? That is a way of privilege abuse. Cross tenant privilege abuse. Vertical, when we say user, if your user role try to access with the admin privileges, that is a vertical. This is cross tenant. So we are going to see cross tenant as well, how we can do it. But now it is almost going to end now. Perfect. So okay, so this is one of the account on the Arthur, as Arthur. When you click on the right click on the profile, when you see a right hand side, there is a profile and admin page. So when you click on admin, you will see this has the users page where it actually allows you to add user. And when you click on add user, it will allow you to add users with multiple roles. You see roles there, admin, team and payroll processor. These are the roles. That means we can also do a vertical, we can also try to do a vertical privilege escalation, like if you are a payroll processor, can you try to access admin features or not? Using UI only backend. So let's maybe see whether we can try to see here a change password feature. Can you see here change password feature? Right? So this is one way, but let's say suppose if you don't have access to the portal and if you want to do account takeover, what are the ways? Any idea? Brute force is one. Any other idea? Cookies, how do you seal the cookies?
There are any existing cookies or if you search
let's do one thing. Let's log out. This is option of reset or forgot password if you don't know your password, right? Or if you forgot your password. So can you click on forgot password on the main page? What is the username? I have a username of maybe Arthur. Or maybe let me check. Omkar. And I will submit it. Okay? So when you click on forgot password, it will immediately send you the email to the inbox with the instruction to reset password or maybe something like that. So let's do one thing. Let's set on the answer so that you will get it over here. So when you send for Arthur, we should receive an email. Can you see password reset here? Can you see password reset here? So it is sending you the password email with the tenant code, right? So now let me try with this. This is a process of resetting the password for one application. It can be, you will get a reset password link as well. This is the one way where you can reset the password. So when I log in, it again asks me for access code, right? Which is easily brute force. So when I submit, now you logged in directly. So now when you go to the profile, there is an option of change password, right? So now if I want to change password, I can directly change it from here. So let's say suppose I want to change it to any test 1, 2, 3 anything, and I'll capture this request. So now you see here, first name, last name, and everything it is going into the request. That means there are chances it is only you can reset a password of Arthur. Can we abuse this? Is it possible to abuse this? If you know any other username, can you do the ID of any other user? Can you do a change password of any other user? Is there any possibility? We can try it out as well. So, if we know the ID, so let's say suppose this is the user ID. Yes? Yes. So if I try to change the user ID and maybe change the password maybe with this, you can do anything. Does this will work?
I don't get it, sir.
Does this will change the password of the user 5373? What you are seeing is, so now what exactly the problem here is, you are actually changing the password of any user if you know the ID. That means you can do if you know this ID belongs to arthur@vaptmail.com, you can take over the account by change password itself. And there is also one more thing which you can do is, this is something is you are doing after authentication. You can do the same way before authentication with the reset password. How do you do that? Can we try that out? The same logic of changing a password of any other user using the reset password. Yes, can we try it out? Maybe on the laptops. The same logic, account takeover using the reset password. Is it possible? Yes. Let's try it out. So these are the techniques where you can try to understand what exactly going in a request. Can we manipulate that and then check it? That is what the worksuit will allow you to learn. So we can try it out in the reset password scenario as well. Let's try that out. We can just log out from here. Let's see if we get the email. Okay, I have the password with me. So let me try to log in. Are you trying the reset password as well?
Small query.
Yeah.
Whatever demo we are looking at, you are intercepting the request and you are running the table, right?
Correct.
So, is it possible even if I do have the TLS 1.3 certificate patch that we have done?
Yeah. So the thing is, this intercept is working because we have installed the custom CS certificate of the worksuit with which we are proxying.
Yes.
So even though we have TLS 1.3 or 2 we call it as,
No.
it is a HTTPS transportless security. It will still allow to intercept because we have this custom certificate browser embedded into that. So when you have certificate installed into the browser, it will allow you to, because it is approved certificate and it is allowing you to you can say that consider as an exception.
But it is not a server certificate, it is not a client certificate.
This is a client.
That's what, when the request comes back from the server,
Yes.
it is a server certificate that client will verify.
Correct. So now,
if that verification does not happen, your connection is rejected.
correct. So the connection will only reject at the browser layer, not at the proxy, because proxy is something which is only talking to the browser. So now here you have certificates embedded into the browser, and your request and response is displayed into the browser of the proxy.
So your box, what certificate that we add in box will work for that.
Yes, even though it is a TLS 1.3 or anything, yes, it will work.
Okay. Is it a controlled website or it is a real-time official website?
That is the real-time option.
Okay, thank you.
So it will work on any application. Even if you take anything, Microsoft.com, Google.com, anything, even the well-known Apple.
Great, thank you. Yeah.
So are you trying the reset password account takeover? Yes. Are you able to do account takeover using the same technique? Try it out. Those who have opened the laptop, try the technique. Try to do account takeover if it is possible. I guess I see very few laptops are open, maybe 10, 15 max. Yeah, try to go through the reset password steps. So, are you able to do this account takeover so that we can go to next? If we can try to find out any specific privilege escalations in the application. If you are done, then we can go ahead and see. Can we go on next? Can we move to the next, privileges? We see the privileges and then try to do the privilege escalation. So now let's log into the portal. So log into the portal and see what are the privileges you have. When you go to the admin, you see the users, here as an admin, you see the user, and you can also add the users here. So I have logged in as an admin. So if you create any other user, you will not be able to see the admin feature. So now, as an admin, you see the roles, different roles are here, right? If you want to create any role or user, maybe we can just create a test. Maybe we can take any temporary event. So you can create a user with the. Let's see whether the privileges can be abused or not. So I will provide the role of maybe, I don't know, test. Simple two apps. Once you add, user is added. Now you should receive a basic password email. You got it? Yes, when you admin is here, when you click on icon of the user, there is the option of admin. When you click on admin, you can go to the users and you can create a user. So this is created. So if I try to log in with that, so let's try to log in with the low privilege user and see whether we can bypass the privileges and able to access any of the higher privilege details. Maybe the Wi-Fi. So I believe you have a user role with you which don't have the admin access. So we need to see whether, I guess you are with the R3 user, it is a user role. It's not admin. If you want to log in with the admin, there is one more. It's a Arthur, only Arthur is the account. Arthur has a username, password is same, and tenant code is also same. This is the admin user. Arthur username, password is the same, and tenant code is also same. Yes. You done? What have you done in the privileges? Okay, so you did an account takeover using the change password. Cool. So we have one person who did account takeover. Probably we can give her 2-3 chocolates to him. So account takeover is a really critical vulnerability, and that actually allows you to take out of any user's account. It's not only one user, we can take over any users in that portal and impersonate. Looks like the password will change, no problem. Anything with respect to the privileges, do one thing, try to log in with the admin user in the normal browser, try to log in with the user role in the incognito mode, just to get it simple, and see if the admin, what are the features or functionalities admin have, are you able to access with the user role. Maybe you can try to access directly, do maybe API calls. Sometimes you will see at the front end you are unauthorized, but API calls will be allowed to access. Is the password changed for the test user? I believe so. Is anybody logged in as a user role here? Anybody logged in as a user role? Yes. So can you see whether you are able to access any of the features which belongs to admin? Yes. So now, I guess Vaibhav, right? Vaibhav has logged in as a user role and I am admin. So Vaibhav is trying to see whether he can access admin pages or he can do some admin actions or not. So what is the best possible way to do that? First, to understand what are the requests which are going in the backend for admin. Because sometimes we see the application front end says unauthorized for non-user, but API you can directly call. So now, if I go to users here, so let me try to capture a request for add user, and you can try to replicate that. Yeah, so let's correct. So let's try to add a user, and I will share you this request, and you see whether you are able to access it. So then we can try to get some. So now we'll capture this request. So what we are basically trying is whether the normal user can perform actions on the file. F1. Yeah, inbox. So what he is trying to do is now we are going to replay the same request with the user October and see whether that is allowed or not. That's perfect. Yes. Copy. No, this is Jot token, JWT. Yes. You go to access. So these are basically techniques which is we have seen the OTP brute force, account takeover, or the live application, how we can do account takeover using reset as well as change password. Reset password is one thing which is unauthenticated. Change password is after authentication you are changing your password, but you are able to change others' password. And third one is the privilege escalation, which is a broken access control at the top, over top 10. And it is, you will see a vertical and the cross. But I guess we can till time whoever is doing manipulation. So now we have some interesting, stuff. We got up like a quiz as well, which will focus on the specific with respect to application security attacks. So I believe Nitesh, yeah, we can conduct the quiz simultaneously. You have to- Yes. Tell me. Yeah, forgot password correct. Virat Kohli here. Who is Big Papa? I'm married Big Papa. It should be Big Daddy. Done?
हेलो गाइस, प्लीज यूज योर रियल नेम्स. जो नाम तुम याद कर रहे हो वही तुम्हारे सर्टिफिकेट्स पे आएगा, तो बी केयरफुल.
Yes. Be careful. Virat Kohli and Big Papa. अरे बीच ना दे तो चलेगा.
Everyone done?
Sir? We just started this. A simple question. If you know the coding, this is correct. I guess I don't know, but yeah, this is correct one. And yeah, Riya Singh is number one for this only one question for now. Okay, perfect. Now it started. Next question. Yes. Simple. This one we already discussed. Cool. Correct. Okay. So we have Vedant. Yes. It's exposing sensitive information of system files. Local file inclusion. Although you will not see in the OS topic listed, but remote file inclusion, local file inclusion is also a type of vulnerability. XXT we discussed as well. Yes. What happened? Okay. Ramjeet. Okay. Same side cookie. It's remote code execution, right? What is that? Yes. Cookie parameters or flags. That's a good one. Who is Paramjit here? Are you doing maybe a Google or something? Very quick. What is this? SQL. It's authentication, authorization. Yes. What is token specific attacks? Is buffer overflow? Are you able to do the privilege selection? Simple. Are you also doing this? Cool. So VAPT we discussed, right? Web application firewall, like perimeter for web application. We have 11 more questions. Is this sequelization? Who said yes? Yes. What is that? Tricky question. That's correct. We discussed SSRF. Oh, who is yes? Only this row is leading now. So we talk about serializer or deserializer just a high level. Of course, how you can test it. That is what is the question. Yes. I was expecting you will be answering that only the last option, but yeah, right answer was correct. SQL injection. We have multiple types of SQL injection attacks. One of them is blind. Which one is the right answer? Easy to guess? Yes, it's again at the top. Most easiest, yes. But the answer should be 401, right? Who actually said unauthorized for this? Who selected unauthorized? Yes, this one we discussed, HSTS, Strict Transport Security. It's added there to HTTPS. That's correct. Yes, you are manipulating the logs. Last 4 questions. You still need to try. WebSocket, have you heard about WebSockets? What is that? How does it work? top still. Yes, SSRF mitigation. CRLF, yes. Do you know what is the full form of CRLF? No? It's the carriage return line fit. Slash R slash N if you then you can use it as programming languages. Carriage return line fit. The last question. Yes. Last question you have. You have chance to be at the top 3. Cool, and the winners are yeah, definitely. So I believe the session should only have a quiz, nothing else. That's what we get the responses proper.
We are delighted to announce the 3 winners who demonstrated problem-solving skills and technical expertise in our cybersecurity challenge. Let's give them a big round of applause. Apurva Patil, CP, and Yash Jare.
To present the awards, we invite Mr. Omkar Joshi and our chapter lead, Mr. Nitesh.
The winners, please come on stage. Apurva Patil, CP, and Yash Jare.
Looks like they are overwhelmed with the chocolates.
for delivering such an engaging and insightful session. Your expertise has provided us with invaluable knowledge and a fresh perspective on cybersecurity. Before we conclude, we have a special token of appreciation for our esteemed speaker. We invite Mr. Nitesh, our chapter lead, to present this special gift to Mr. Omkar Joshi. A big thank you to our faculty, the organizing team, and most importantly, each and every one of you for being such an enthusiastic audience. Remember, cybersecurity is only strong as the people protect it.